Welcome to Women Against Resistance, where we empower the individual, fortify families to shift the culture.
Guys, we're excited to have our guests on here tonight. We have long friends of ours for years, been married for 10 plus years, parents of two, Isaac and Leonna Williams.
Woo.
And guys, you want to share a little bit about your professional backgrounds?
You want to share? No?
You go first.
Sure. Yeah, like you say, been married for 10 plus years.
Yes.
Met each other at Alcorn State University, where I was a young stud freshman coming in, right? No?
She said.
She ain't going for that. No, more seriously though, been married 10 plus years and me currently coach. Been coaching, when we graduate?
2012.
2012, yeah. So graduated 2012, played a few years of arena football, and then got into the coaching profession.
Yeah.
Spent a few years at high school coaching back in Mississippi and Clinton, where my family was from. And we actually got married, I remember, in 2015.
I'm glad you remember that.
2015, because I had coached a few years before we got married. And then after that, we just started traveling a whole lot. Colorado, Baltimore, Maryland, North Carolina,
Yeah.
and now we in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, awesome.
Yeah.
Lily, what about you? I know you did some time with the government contracting stuff.
Yep, I was with the government for about almost 8 years, and after that, once he got this job, I kind of stepped down and as the stay-at-home wife role.
That's not a step down, baby.
Well,
That's
yeah,
a
it's step
10
up, actually.
steps up.
Well, a step up so I can be
Yeah.
at home with them,
Yeah.
full time. So we have one parent pretty much present,
Yeah.
because of his profession too. So
Yeah,
been
absolutely.
doing that for 3 years now, a little over 3 years.
Excellent. You know, one reason I asked you guys to come share today, because what I realized is that I've watched your family grow over the years. I've understood the demands of your job and how dedicated you are as a wife, to sacrifice a lot to travel with your husband and support. And I think it's a very unique thing because we have a lot of the audience, young professionals with children, and they're trying to figure out. You guys have figured out to a degree where you have a successful family, growing family, building towards goals and dreams. So hopefully tonight what we can do is just extract a little of the solution to other people's problems, and maybe not even problems, but just being able to share maybe some insight.
Before we do that, I want to take it a bit further. How
Yeah.
do you and Isaac know each other?
So cool. So Isaac and I, we were roommates in college. Your freshman year, my junior year.
Absolutely.
I think we played football together at Alcorn State University, and just the Lord connected us, and we just continue to be friends. I think it was something unique about both of our personalities. Last name Williams, so that was one thing that I liked about him. But it was something unique about the connection. I think it was divine in some sense, the fact that so many years have passed and we still have a friendship, we still have a connection, we still enjoy connecting, being around each other, and it's always been an iron sharpening iron situation. So, and Lily, as I know her, I've been knowing her probably since third grade. I think going back, that's probably the earliest I remember knowing Leonna. So I went to Saints from the same town. So it was such a unique thing when you started dating this guy, and I can remember riding in the car with Isaac, and well, I think that's when I first found out. I was like, man, but I was happy about it because I already liked Isaac, and then I knew Lily was always such a good person. I was like, okay,
I'll take it a step further.
Go ahead.
I'll take it a step further. So the stud comment, obviously, I was joking, right?
Yeah.
So I was chasing my wife for minimum 6 months, just to get a phone number.
Yeah.
Right? And I'd never forget, I asked you this. Hey, man, tell me about this girl, Lily.
Okay.
And you don't remember this conversation.
I don't.
I know it. I'm like, we football players at the time, so it's you trying to figure it out. I'm from a town an hour and a half away. You didn't grew up in the town that
Where
she's
she
from.
grew up, right?
I'm like, who is this girl? Like, what's what's the
Trying to get the scoop.
yeah, what's going on? Yeah,
What I say?
what she like, huh? She
Yeah.
said, Lily? I said, yeah. Oh man, she a good girl. That's what you said.
Yeah.
I said, really? So they come from a good family, good young lady, respectable. And then I was like, it's worth chasing in my mind. I ain't tell you that, but I'd never forget that conversation though.
Yeah.
You told me that, and I was like, all right,
Hey,
I'm pursuing the right
There
one.
you go.
Now,
Well, you're welcome, brother.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I love that. And since we're talking about that, and Chris just talked about how he's watched you evolve as a man, but here we are, 10 years. That's a big deal.
It's a big
in
deal,
marriage,
man.
for sure.
Yeah,
So
big deal.
congratulations on that.
Yeah.
10 years of marriage. So, and then with your schedules, and now you're managing 2 small children, and you're, busy doing your thing. How do you guys stay unified? What is one of those things? Like a couple of tips on just unity. What does that look like for y'all?
The most challenging piece is communication.
Yeah.
I know early on, like in my profession, it's like it's so time consuming from late July until essentially January, February. And now that we're here on the professional level, in the NFL, the calendar is a tad bit different. And the reason I say that, you got to think in 2016, we went to Colorado. Like you had the season aspect, but then, and I was at the University of Northern Colorado, you had the season aspect, but then you had this recruiting calendar aspect where things never really slowed down from a perspective of work-related opportunities or going to events or doing different things. Since I've been here in Pittsburgh, though, you have the opportunity to kind of decompress once the season ends, once February hits. So I say that to say, like, the challenge in the communication piece has always been something that we've tried to focus on. And I'm still not great at it. And I say not great at it because when I tell myself that, it allows me to keep striving,
Yeah.
I was just saying it's something that we both still be working on, like, the communication part. We're constantly working towards.
Yeah. And it's so funny. We just had a conversation a week ago, and I hope you don't mind me sharing this. And she looked at me and we were sitting there talking. She say, emotionally, I just feel a little empty. And it cut me. I said, oh. Because, that's my wife. Yeah, it's the woman I love. It's like, man, I'm going to work, make sure you take care of from that standpoint. As a man, you think protect, provide, produce. And when she told me that, like as a man, that's a different type of a challenge. Because she wasn't saying she was searching for happiness from me. Like the thing that I didn't understand 3 years ago when she stepped away from her job to come and take care of our girls on a day-to-day basis is just how draining that beautification process can be. It's like she pointing to these young ladies, these girls, and they always asking mommy for this and for that. And I'm able to go out and have some different type of interaction where it's not just with a 5 and a 3-year-old respectfully now. And I didn't quite understand that process. And let's be honest, I still don't all the way understand that process because I'm not living it.
Right.
But I'm appreciative of the fact that we could share a conversation, like I said, a week ago, and she could say, hey, emotionally, I'm a tad bit empty, and I have some men in my life and people in my life, i.e. y'all, for example, who I take these conversations to, and I'm still on the communication piece, you take these conversations to, and you hear things like, hey man, how about you go and get your wife a massage, a manicure, pedicure, give her a day, get her a room at a nice hotel, you take the girls, get them ready for school, and you like, I never thought of that. But I try to pursue some of them opportunities and hope you can make a 1 cent deposit into that emotional tank to try to move the needle a little bit. So it starts with communication. I know for me specifically, for us, I don't want to speak for you. I know I can talk, but
can I point out something?
Absolutely.
The level of communication that was there, the emotional maturity to say, hey, husband, I feel, what do you say? Emotionally,
I told him emotional, like drained.
I feel emotionally drained, because some people play the silent game and you will experience the emotional drainage in different ways, but not verbally. But by her saying, hey, she expressing it to you verbally, now you can take some action.
Absolutely.
Now you can be proactive and actually doing that. So I think that in itself is it may be a reflection of 10 years of marriage, but it's also a reflection of skills in communication, you know, because it's a level of skills in communication.
Yeah.
It also says that the relationship was safe enough for her to feel like she could share with her husband.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
he, you know, she wasn't gonna get violence or silence back from him to say, "Hey, I don't like how I'm feeling right now emotionally," and the fact that they gave you the opportunity to step up and fill that void. So
Yeah.
And if I could, because what we're talking about right now, we're pulling out 10 years of marriage, right? 10 years of maturity, but you didn't start there. So if we talk about the, you know what I mean? If we talk about that couple right now that's listening to this and they're at year 2 and 3, you know, they're at year less than 5, and that level of communication is not there. That level of safety in communication is not there. How do you build it? You know, how do you begin to, what tools, what resources? You talk about surrounding yourself with good people. Maybe we can segue into that, but how do you build that?
I would say knowing who your partner is, because like Isaac can be very aggressive and like, why do you feel this way? What are you doing? And like, I used to have to tell him, when you talking to me like that, I feel like you're attacking me.
Yeah.
So like, let's calm the volume down and like just have the conversation, because like when he was talking to me like that, I couldn't communicate. It was like, it was just overwhelming. It was just like, you know, oh my goodness, and this and that. And so like he had to start changing his ways, how he was communicating with me, and just like over time, because like I wasn't the type to just express my feelings either.
Yeah.
Like that was something I had to learn to work on. And he's the type of person, let's solve this and let's solve this right now. But I'm like, sometimes, you know, give me a minute and let me gather my thoughts. And if you coming to me like that, I cannot communicate with you.
Yeah.
But like just over time, like I said, like just learning me, myself, and then him learning me, and then him as well. Like, I know you want to talk about it, but let's just go this route so we can communicate.
Yeah. That's
Still learning. Like,
Yeah.
you still learning. One word that come to my mind is grace. Like allowing each other space and providing grace, because you're not going to get it right. You're not. It's like, I don't think we understand the full encompassing of two individuals moving into one space and becoming one. Like it's talked about, it's spoken about. It's the fairy tale in love of marriage is cool. You know, it sound good, exactly. But once you move into a house, whatever, a living quarter with this person, and she was raised a certain way, I was raised a certain type of way. Just even our backgrounds, like my parents, and this is no knock. Like I saw my parents been married with 30, close to 40 years. Yes, like the relationship she saw with her mom and father, it wasn't like that. So it's like, and you draw from those experiences. And the reason, again, I go back to grace, because I can speak from that perspective. And if I'm saying some things from that perspective that don't come out right, it comes off as insensitive to what her past is, and vice versa. You know.
Yeah.
So I say that, like, it was times where I'm glad she granted me grace. I'm glad she still grants me grace, because as you learning and as you growing, there's opportunities to where you can say, man, I got that one right. But it's gonna be a lot of times where you're not gonna get it right. You know.
Yeah.
So that's the one that hit my mind, man. Is just providing some grace and space for each other, especially in those early years.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. Got anything you want to add on that?
Well, I mean, I totally agree with that. Those two different experiences, because we both are coming from divorce homes. And then we were just talking about this earlier, how just your life experiences shape, you know, the how you respond in relationships. And I don't want to go into detail with that, but just some of the things I grew up seeing, and I was taken into different relationships. And you know, if one thing went bad, I was like, okay, time to walk away from it, because you know, and just learning, I had to learn how to grow from that. Even when we got married, I said divorce so many times in the first few years of our marriage, because that was some of the stuff that I had seen, and just how it was shaped and molded, that I was just like, okay, well, it ain't gonna work. If I'm not gonna get that, if you're not my Prince Charming, and you're not coming to rescue me, and you're not acting that way, we're not meant to be together.
Yeah.
Because it's not happily ever after. So
Yeah.
it's not meant for
Yeah.
us. But
Too many Disney movies.
too many Disney movies. They screwed me up.
For the horses
I'm telling
in
you.
the cake, man.
You didn't come save me. Like, and it wasn't working. I was like, this is not my Prince Charming. So
like the one.
I need to get a divorce.
And you know, that's for young married couples, that's just a matter of expectations. You know, you step into marriage with different expectations. Angela and I, we definitely had different expectations, and what I expected, I knew it was going to be hard because I came from a divorced family, you know, and I didn't see a lot of successful marriages throughout my family as a whole. So I knew that having successful marriage can't be easy because I don't see a lot of it. So I stepped into it with the knowledge that I'm gonna have to put in work, that it's gonna be hard. You know what I mean? So with her, she had different expectations. Thought it was gonna be easy in a sense. So
It should be easy if it was right. It should be. That's what I
That's
came
what
in
you
with.
thought.
If it's right, it should be easy.
Yeah.
but a lot of times it's the, you know, it could be the very opposite. But that's great. I think there's a lot of good stuff came from that. Just to
Go back to even speaking on what you were just talking about,
Yeah.
like the expectation piece.
Yeah.
Like, how many times do we communicate what's my expectation? Like, I can vividly remember, man, you gonna cook, wash, you know what I'm saying? Like, clean up the crib. Like, why you don't do that stuff? I'm like, you ought to do this daily. You know what I'm saying?
You communicated?
I didn't. That's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
you
Like,
expected it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like the communication piece. Like, I never told her, man, you know, it'll be nice to get the clothes washed 2-3 times a week.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be nice to get a
Yeah.
breakfast 2-3 times a week. You know, and I can hear it in your voice. That's how she was like. She was like, yeah, oh, okay then.
Okay.
But and the way it was coming out, it wasn't like these are my expectations. Like, man, why the clothes ain't washed?
Yeah.
What you doing? Like,
Yeah.
Because those were your expectations.
those
but
were my
yeah.
expectations. Exactly. And
He
it's like,
wanted to do the roles thing, but I had to tell him, like, I'm working just like at that time. Like,
Yeah.
I'm working just like you working. And so we came up with a plan. What you don't like to do, I do. And that's what he did, and other stuff I did. Because I'm like, I can't do it all. Like,
Right.
it's just me, and it's just too much.
Yeah.
And we both were working late, long hours. So that's how we did that. But, like,
but it's fine.
And guess what? This is what I've learned. Sometimes expectations may never get met because Angela, her dad used to always, every Saturday morning, she tells her dad always wash the car.
All the cars, every vehicle at our house.
Hand to wash.
Hand wash. I'm talking about shine the tires, go to the store, fill it up with gas.
Yeah.
bring it back. Why is my car empty? There's no reason I got to stop at the gas station at all. And why is it dirty?
Wow.
And
Why?
after 10 years of marriage, that have yet to get accomplished.
Why is my
But
car
what I have
dirty?
done, but this is what I've learned though. My wife, she's used to a certain type of rearing, I guess, or something that she experienced as a child that she kind of expected in marriage. But for me, that's not maybe her dad liked washing cars. I don't like washing cars. You know what I mean? So I go buy a subscription to a car wash. Maybe you drive through as many times as you want to. You know what I mean? So you figure out
You
solutions.
pump the gas or you put the gas?
I started putting gas
Ah,
in
there
there.
you go. Yeah.
But you figure out solutions, man. So that, you know, gotta
No,
figure
that's
out.
real.
That's a
That
good
is
point
real.
though. So you and I think that we're so and you dated and what's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You dated with what we see on social media, how other people's marriages are going, or what
Yeah.
we've taken in from experiences in life, and we're applying this to our life, and then we think this isn't working and it's wrong because it's not working for our situation. But
Yeah.
we're all so different, and what may work in our household may not work in your household.
Absolutely.
You have to figure
Absolutely.
out what works for you in your household and be okay with that.
Yeah.
And I think we have to stop comparing what's going on in someone else's house. Well, why are they living like this? Why is this husband doing this? Is this wife doing this? That's not, that's not
Yeah.
our situation. So we just have to figure out what works for us in our homes.
It's a quote I heard Inky Johnson say comparison. Every time I hear that word, I think about it. Comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah.
And it's so true.
It
It's
is.
like every time you start comparing what someone else has or does not have, it's like you're not being thankful for the blessing that you have on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
every time I hear that word, I just think about that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
One more thing you said. I'm sorry. One more thing you said. You talked about social media in general.
Mm-hmm.
I had the opportunity to get off of social media. And you talking about one of the things I think has helped our marriage. Like 3 years ago, I got off of social, like completely
Completely.
off social media.
I can't tag you in this video.
the page
Yeah, we might tag the page, but I
Won't
don't
see
have it.
it.
I
Yeah.
won't see it. But it's been good for the fact of, because another thing I failed at, and I'm okay saying this, early on, I would be present, but I wouldn't be present. You know, like physically I was there.
Yeah.
And I don't even think I understood at the time, but mentally I could be on my phone just doing other things. And it's amazing how when you can get somebody 5 minutes of like true intentional presence, how that makes them feel and how that makes the conversation and just the interaction go. So I don't know, I'm speaking for myself. Would you agree or disagree with that?
Yeah.
I find myself, Leonna, with the kids sometimes, and I get caught up in that. I'll be scrolling and looking at my phone, and I had my daughter say, "Mommy, can you put your phone down?" And that hurts, you know. It's like, okay, dang, like, sorry, like, and I put it away, and then it's real. Like, you can just get caught up in whatever's happening on social media, and then like the people right there in front of you, they feel like they don't have a piece of you. So then I realized how quick they grow up, and how I won't get this time back. Like, so it's like I need to be focused now while I have them with me, so I can actually spend time with them. So Leonna, when you are home, right? I want to know, how do you, dad's away, what's the conversation like with the girls? Like, how do you talk about dad when he's not at home? Because I realize as a woman, we can shape so much of the household, the atmosphere of the household, and how we act and our vibes and our energy, it impacts the kids and how they feel about dad and what he walks into when he comes back home. So how are you talking about him when he's away to the girls?
Okay. So like now they are older, 5 and 3, and they don't understand like the total concept of time, but like they know dad's not at home, or like it's a while when he's not here and stuff like that. But I just try to tell them, you know, like, well, daddy be home. Like when he have breaks, we try to make sure we call him and stuff. And like I'm like, well, I want daddy home. I'm like, well, daddy might not be home right now, but you know, we try to call him, you know, when it's time to go to bed or something. And like we always just try to talk and tell them too. Like Isaac always tell them, like we all have a job to do. His job is to be present and be at the building. And with that, he make the money for some of the stuff, you know, to take care of our house, the food and necessities, and the things that they want to. And like we tell them, my job is to take care of them and take care of the household stuff and whatever they need and want. And then their job is to go to school, learn and obey, and then help me out around the house. So like that's one thing too. Like if we're trying to do something around the house, clean up or something, I'm like, you know, we gotta make sure we clean up our toys and stuff before daddy gets home. And then what we try to do too is just like balance out when he has time in his schedule. Like, hey, daddy might have some time right here, so we need to make sure we do good in school, do what we're supposed to do at home, and we might get a chance or opportunity to go with dad and spend some time with him, and he can take you out and stuff like that too. But I just try, you know, to keep a positive attitude and just like, you know, I know sometimes daddy might not be able to be home, but just know we all have our job. We have to continue to do our job so we can enjoy some of the things that we do.
Yeah.
I think, what I've realized is as black women, there's not a lot of black women that are stay-at-home moms.
No,
like
it's
culture,
not.
and especially from where we're from, culturally, it's just not a thing, really. And I feel like sometimes I have to battle and even though I'm working part-time and I'm at home sometimes, so I like to say I'm a full-time mom and a part-time nurse, but I feel like I have to battle with the people that I grew up around about being a stay-at-home mom. Like I have to make it seem like, not make it seem like, but I don't know, like I have to present it to them like I like being a stay-at-home mom. I don't want to be out there working sometimes. So like, do you ever feel that pull? Like
sometimes I do, but it goes back to like, you know, even with the marriage part, like what works best for your relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, because people are gonna always say something. If you go to work, if you at home, it's like gonna always feel like something. So like that's where like we have to have that conversation too. Like long as we're on the same page, people can say what they want to say. Like I don't care, and like, you know, and I'm not, you know, being rude or anything like that about it. But I'm like, my husband and I, we talked about it, and we're okay about it. Like, and we're doing the best decision for our children and our family. So I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I'm just like, okay, you know, in a respectful way though. Like, you know, just okay. But like, this is our decision. We're okay with it. It is what it is.
I just hope we can free some other black women that it's okay to be at home.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of people don't understand it, and I guess like, again, like a lot of people use their background and their past and they kind of put that on you because of what they had, but their experience is not our experience.
Right.
Like, I know my husband, your husband, and like people say, well, people might do this, people might do that, but like I trust my husband.
Right.
Like, it is what it is, and I like, it. I don't know.
Yeah. I get it. No, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it for sure. Definitely. I've heard some interesting comments too. So, and I'm like, hey, that's your husband might do that. I'm not worried about that. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's based on family vision. You guys have a family vision. You know what it looks like, and we know what ours look like. You just got to figure out what your family vision looks like, and how do you want your kids raised? Because some of my fondest memories is being at home with my mom. Dad was at working, and mom and I were at home. So some great memories. One thing I wanted to ask you guys is, when it comes down to the people that you trust enough to speak into your marriage, to get advice from when you're seeking wise counsel, like what are some characteristics of those individuals? And I'm assuming that circle may be pretty small, but what do they have in common? What are some attributes? What are some characteristics that those individuals have that you can trust them enough to speak into one of the most powerful, one of the most important relationships of your life?
Yeah. Specifically, one, they need to be married.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So as a discipleship group that I get to share with, and the men in it have been awesome.
Yeah.
But just one of the foundational beliefs in there is like when you're seeking wise counsel, like you should always have somebody that's 10 years ahead of you or walking along the same path you, and then you should have somebody that's 5 to 10 years below you. So when I think about that ultimately, and that's just like putting a process on it. Well, ultimately, when I think about that, that's what I search for. And it's easier for me today because, like I said before, my parents have 35, 40 plus years. Another good friend of mine who we actually do some work together in Mississippi, he's been married to his wife for 25 plus years. So me, that's the first place I started. I started with those guys that's been married, that's seen 10 and 15 and 20 somewhere that I haven't been, and just hear their perspective, like ask them what they're doing. And then at the same time, I know that 2025 is different than 1995, respectfully. Like I'm not like we just in a different time now. So I do enjoy having conversation with, man, one of my closest friends, he been married, probably 6-7 years now? Has it been that long? I'm giving him too many years.
No.
I'm giving you some years, whatever it is. I'm giving you some
But
years.
they've been
Together for a
while.
long time, though, But as somebody else, I can have conversation with, and people that's been my age or our age, like yourselves. Like, I trust you because you going through the same times. Your children are in line with the same ages, and it's some similar experiences. So for me, I know that's where it started. Just being married, piece, and then the second one, like we God-fearing people. Like I love Christ. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I want that counsel to be in line with that as well. Now I have some friends who aren't Christians per se, but still good people. So I have those conversations with them. But when I'm pointing to my marriage, I need that because I know I'm coming from a biblical standpoint. I'm coming from the Bible. When I'm speaking to my wife and studying and trying to seek God's vision and ear for what He want me to speak into this woman. So that's another big thing for me. It's like, the years are great, and then like, and how have you stayed married to that woman for X amount of years doing it or trying to do it how God said we should do it?
Yeah.
So
that's huge, man.
That's where it's at.
So, and I love the idea. You say 10 years. That's a good concept. 10 years ahead, right along where you are, and then a few years behind.
Correct.
And I'm assuming because you can pour into
Absolutely.
that
Absolutely.
marriage, you can disciple that couple in a sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think even for Angela and I, the way we made it through the rough times is that we had that commonality. Christ was the foundation of it, so we knew that when things got rocky, we could always go to the prayer closet. We can always, at least we always had that commonality there. And the thing about it, as you mature as husband and wife and as believers individually with Christ, you learn how to hear the voice of God. And just give a quick example. Angela, we were it was Sunday morning. I was already in church, and she came later with the kids, and we got into a disagreement on the phone. And it's like literally before I walked into church, she was just pulling up before I walked in, and then now I'm hot, I'm hot. And
Yes,
then,
sir.
Going into the house.
Going
Yes,
to the house
sir.
of the Lord. And I sit down beside her, and I didn't even want to touch her. I'm like, but I'm sitting, and it probably one or two songs went by, and then she leaned over to me and said, "I'm not your enemy."
Mm.
And she said, "I just heard." Then she sat back down and said, "I just heard the Lord share that to say," and it felt like I deflated instantly.
All that sting.
All that sting.
All that sting.
But God knew exactly what I needed to hear, because because I have the understanding to know that the enemy always tried to wedge in at some point.
Absolutely.
But my emotions had just got the best of me at that time.
Yeah.
And I gave place to the enemy
Yeah.
to take me to that place. But the Lord affirmed that what we were going through, it wasn't my wife. It was just the enemy and how he was distorting the communication, whatever the case may be. And when she said it, I knew it was God speaking. And I didn't want to be honest, I didn't want to let it go that easy.
Yeah. You couldn't hold on to it.
I couldn't hold on to it. I
it.
totally deflated. So that's the importance of, I believe, growing as believers, being able to hear the voice of God, in your marriage. So I think this has been a great night, great interview. I appreciate you guys' time. I appreciate what you've been able to share and what we've been able to pull out of you guys. I guess we'll leave, anything else you guys want to cap it out on, anything you want to share, and then we'll wrap it up. Any wisdom nuggets or?
Yeah, I actually love the war theme because marriage is a fight. Like
it is.
Following Christ is a fight, and it's one that you have to be prepared for and constantly prepare for. You know? Being a coach, the week of preparation is so big for us, and I can always draw parallels. And when you prepare the right way, you give yourself a chance. I ain't saying you're gonna win. You give yourself a chance to win on game day. And it's the same thing with marriage or anything else. It's like if I'm waking up and I'm seeking God's voice, I'm praying, I'm staying in my word, and I'm valuing my wife like Christ valued the church.
Mm-hmm.
I give myself a chance. So like that war, when I think about war, winning against resistance, right?
Yeah.
Like I think about that fight component that you have to have. And like, so I love what y'all doing. We love it first and foremost. Just the ability to keep growing people that's our age, older, younger, whomever it may be. But we all got to understand, like, it's gonna be a fight. Like we better be putting on that armor of God. We better be sharpening those swords and making sure our helmet of salvation is right, and that breastplate of righteousness is in line, because you step out into this world on a day-to-day basis, especially as a married couple, one who is, seeking God and trying to be successful, and He giving you a vision. Like, you better be prepared to fight. And that's the one thing that I would tell anybody. Like, it's okay. You're gonna struggle. You're gonna lose, but keep fighting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep fighting. So
great wisdom, man. Great wisdom. And that's our goal. Just continue to empower the individuals so that we can help fortify the families and be able to shift the culture. It's been great sharing with you guys tonight. I'm sorry, anybody else before I?
Nope.
Okay, it's been great sharing with you guys tonight. Powerful couple, Isaac and Leonna Williams, raising two beautiful young girls, and we're excited about the future for them. Hey, until next time, we'll catch you guys later.
Hey, we want to hear from you. What did you learn from this? Drop it in the comments. Like, subscribe, and share. We'll see you guys soon. Go win.
Peace.
peace.
Peace.